What's up, JR Business? Welcome back to the channel. So we have an amazing video in store for you guys today. I'm so excited to make it. But a lot of you guys are probably coming over from my automotive channel, JR Garage. If so, we're doing a giveaway. If you don't know already, we're giving away an iPad mini, a GoPro, a piece of JR Garage merch, 100 Cardano coins, and the fifth winner will receive 50 Cardano coins. So that's 5 winners total for this giveaway. And remember, all you gotta do is subscribe to this channel, JR Business. I hope you're already subscribed to JR Garage by now. And feel free to drop a comment down below. I definitely wanna hear what you guys have to think about this video and this topic, and I'm excited to interact with you guys in the comment section. So don't forget to leave a comment. But anyway, we're in the warehouse now. Christian's working on the 430. The bumper is going back on today. I know I've been saying that for weeks, but it looks like it's going on today. So we got that nice exhaust showing there. I'm so excited. These exhaust tips look so good. Clean engine bay. We're actually, JR Garage doesn't know this yet. This is some secret information, but see this? Looks like we're doing surgery on it. That's because we're removing the ECUs and we're sending them off to my buddy Peter over at 1016 Industries because he's tuning the car, really get the peak horsepower and torque out of the engine. So guys, it's an absolutely gorgeous day out today, 75 degrees, which for Washington, D.C. in the middle of winter is basically unheard of. So it would be a sin for me not to take out one of the cars. So we're gonna go ahead and hop in the Lamborghini here to do today's storytime episode of how we grossed $100,000 by the age of 12. Pretty crazy story, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. All right. V10, startup.
Later.
And of course, right when I start driving, it starts raining and getting all cloudy, but that's okay. I pulled over to a pool parking lot. It'll be nice and quiet here, and I won't have to fight over the sound of this engine, just so you guys can hear me. So, where do we begin? You guys can read the title. How we made $100,000 by the age of 12. Before I turned 12 and before my brother turned 14, we had already made $100,000. Grossed $100,000, I should say. A lot of people like to mix made, grossed, and profited all together when they are very, very different. We did not profit $100,000. That would be out of this world, but we did have really good profit margins. We still do have really good profit margins. On that first $100,000, we profited about 40 or 50 grand. So great margins. I mean, compared to some industries out there, so the margins are really what you need to look at. Now, I wish Christian was here to do this video with me, but he's really busy working on the 430. That bumper has to get on like by today, because once these ECUs are back, we need to do a video driving the car, and can't drive the car if we don't really have the bumper on there. So he's busy doing that. So as you guys know, we do everything together. It's never just me, it's never just him. So when I say we in this video, you know, it refers to me and him. And sometimes I'll say I just because I'm the only one here. So we really haven't put out that much talking about exact like monetary figures of how much by what age we've made. So this is a good video. This is some really good information in here. I think you guys are going to enjoy it a lot. So as you guys know, for the past 10 years or so now, our main gig has been our tangible investment business. We deal in collectible commodities. In simple terms, we buy and resell rare collectibles basically to our clientele. So over the past years, we've built up a clientele of tens of thousands of investors around the world, and business has been booming. But a lot of you guys have been asking how that all started, where we started and at what age, and how did the sales, you know, start to ramp up, and when did they start to grow big. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. I was doing some calculations and, you know, totaling up all the year's sales, and this isn't some like made up numbers, guesstimate calculations. No, it's cut and dry. In 2009, we made $23,000. In 2010, we made $35,000. And by 2011, we made $75,000. So once you do the math, and by the time I turned 12, we had already made $100,000. So that's the title. Cut and dry, no BS. So how did we get into this business? Well, we got really fascinated by old collectibles and antiques, and especially coins and currency, you know, old money, in 2008. In the summer of 2008, we were visiting family in Montana. I got a bunch of relatives out there. So we were out there, and my aunt gave each of us an Indian head penny from the early 1900s. If you know coins, you would know what that is. And if you don't know coins, I hope you guys can learn some things in this video, because we're going to be covering a lot of numismatic content, which means coins and currency content. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know in the comment section if you do want more videos talking about coins, currency, this side of business. But anyway, so my aunt gave us these, me and Christian, an old penny, and we're like, oh, this is cool. And then when we got home, we started doing some research on it, and then we found all sorts of other old coins, you know, a V nickel from the early 1900s, a buffalo nickel, a silver dollar, silver half dollars. We're like, this is pretty cool. You know, let's start collecting them. So that's exactly what we did. Started collecting them, building our collection. And then eventually we had to start selling things from our collection to buy new things. So it's kind of like cars in a way. You know, if you want a new car, sometimes you got to sell the old car. So that's what we were doing. And when we went to go sell them, we started turning a profit. The fundamentals of business are kicking in. So we're like, well, can we grow this business and really start building a customer base and start really buying and selling these things on a bigger scale? And that is exactly what we did. So big picture here. Coins and currency, this industry was, I mean, huge in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, baby boomers. You know, collecting coins was the cool thing back then. And with our generation, no, not as close. If you go to a coin show or a coin convention, whatever, a coin shop, 9 times out of 10, those people, mostly guys, will be like over 60 years old, oftentimes in their 70s or even like 80s, you know, 50s plus for sure. So it's not a young industry whatsoever. But the one thing we noticed very, very early on is this older demographic was not using technology to their advantage whatsoever. They were not selling on online e-commerce platforms such as eBay, Amazon, you know, Etsy now, Shopify stores, anything like that. They were all just doing it in person at conventions and shows. And they weren't even using phones or iPads to get their pricing information and, you know, information about the coins and currency. They were just using like books and their own, you know, brain and their own knowledge. And I'm like, okay. So us being young, what if we can come into the industry, utilize technology? We put 2 and 2 together. We use technology to our advantage 100%. On the buying side, we were able to look up auction records, you know, online things, everything to really maximize what we buy and buy only good deals. And then on the selling side as well, we started very early on eBay, I think in 2008. We set up one of our first accounts and we started selling on that platform along with a host of other things. I mean, we were selling at local auction. There was an auction about an hour away from us. It happened every 2 weeks and we would consign a ton of our inventory there and the things would go for pretty good numbers. So I think per every other week, we were grossing about $1,000 at that auction. So, you know, 26 auctions in a year, 26 grand in the first year. And then you combine that figure with what we were doing in person at conventions and shows and just, you know, vest pocket dealing and buying and selling at shows. I mean, that was tens of thousands of dollars as well in those first couple of years. So now we're already at like 50 grand and that's not even counting e-commerce. So eBay, like I mentioned earlier in this video, 2009 we did $23,000. Okay, what led to that $23,000? I'm gonna give you guys some specifics. I just wrote down some notes this morning so I wouldn't forget the things. But so in 2009 they released a new penny design. It had 4 new commemorative reverses to the coin. The back of the coin had different designs. Okay, so people were collecting them. It was kind of a cool thing. It was almost like, dare I relate it to like a Yeezy release or something like that, but not even close to that scale. But same idea. This new thing is being sold by the US Mint, the government, these new coins, and everybody wanted to collect them. And okay, yeah. So given that we live close to DC, one of the branches in DC at the Mint kiosks were selling these coins. So when they released these pennies, I skipped school for like 2 days. I think I was in like 3rd grade. Oh boy. And I went down to DC with my brother and we started just buying up these pennies. We would wait in line. We would pay people to wait in line for us. I mean, we were hustling to get all these coins and we were buying them for basically face value. The Mint oftentimes just sells things at face value just to, you know, get them out there and things. So that day we ended up buying hundreds and hundreds of these penny rolls and we later go to sell them on eBay and they were bringing a really, really strong premium. I remember some of those first rolls of pennies, we stamped and canceled them on the release day so everyone knows we got them the first day they were released, and we were selling some of those rolls for $50 to $100 a roll. We paid 50 cents for them, and of course we bought hundreds of rolls. So I mean, in that week, oh my goodness, we must have made 10 or 20 grand profit. If you guys want to hear that full story, I can totally make a story time video on it, but that was like our first big break in this coin industry. We made a killing that week. So of course, you better bet we were there for like the next quarter releases and the new presidential dollars being made in 2009 and the national park quarters coming out in 2010. So now, of course, we weren't just doing these like new coin releases. These were great. They worked out really well, but it didn't just stop there. So of course, I mean, we were just hustling so hard. I'm writing down some of the places where we just bought up inventory from. And keep in mind, I will say this, the first day we ever went out and bought inventory to buy and resell in a way, or basically what we started this business with, was $50. $50. Like I've preached a million times, do not go out and start your business and take out a big loan for $5,000 or $10,000 thinking you need thousands of dollars to start your business. That's the biggest BS ever. Bootstrap your company like we did. So we started it with $50. That's it. And that first day, I think we turned that $50 into like 250 bucks. And then from there, it was just turn and burn every single day. But anyway, I wrote down some of the places where we bought this inventory from. So like I mentioned, banks, we probably had hundreds and hundreds of banks keeping an eye out for cool stuff, and they would save it for us. They would call us when they would get it in, and they would let us buy it for face value. So we came across some amazing old currencies, new currencies. Okay, this rain is getting really hard now. Let's see. I'm gonna try to drive to somewhere with an, oh my goodness. All right. Ay, ay, ay. It went from a beautiful day to this. Gets me every time. All right, bingo. Good. All right, it's quiet here. So where did I leave off? Buying inventory. Where do we get it all? So like I said, banks. We got a surprising amount of stuff from auctions. Auctions were a huge one. We'd go to auctions in Pennsylvania like every couple of weeks, and we could go in there with technology, look at eBay completed auction records, things like that, and know exactly what things are worth, know where the market's at currently, so we could be really effective with what we bought. So that's another good one. Auctions. Garage sales, flea markets, like, man, we would just clean up at some, like, I mean, garage sales, we got some amazing deals at some places. And these are all things you guys can do too if you're interested in getting into the market. You know, going to a garage sale looking for good deals is simple, you know, flipping good purchases, you know. Estate sales we would go to, of course, and Craigslist, another huge one. You know, we would just search Craigslist all day long, coin collections, collectibles, and we would find some amazing things. I remember one deal, this was in 2010, we were coming back from Montana, and I was searching on Craigslist. We were in Omaha, Nebraska, and I found this one pretty good collection, and I messaged the guy, said, you know, we'd love to come check it out. We meet up at a Burger King, and we ended up buying the whole collection, and he wanted only like $250 for the whole group. That group we sold for over $2,000. So again, that was another big win when we were young. And while we're talking about big wins, let me talk about just a few others. Two huge ones came pretty early on. So another place we would go, along with like coin shops, coin conventions, you know, the usual stuff, were we buy gold shops, because we knew that they were paying basically nothing for that stuff. They were paying just melt, no matter what. If it's a rare gold coin, great. They don't know, they're just gonna pay melt and then mark it up a little bit. So we specifically went to those we buy gold shops. And one day we went to one, and we went in, said, hey, do you have any old coins, you know, that you buy and are interested in selling for premium over the gold melt value? You know, saying that so they immediately know that they're gonna be making money. And they start whipping stuff out. There were some better things, there were some pretty common things, and then there were two things that stood out. So one was a 2008 4-coin gold buffalo set, a 1 ounce, a half ounce, a quarter ounce, and a 1/10 ounce. 4 pieces. They were proof finish. They were minted at the West Point Mint, so 2008 W mint mark. Very rare, very, very rare set actually. They didn't make many at all. Of course, with the economic downturn, a lot of times when we go through recessions, the coin mintages are lower, making them worth more. The melt value on it at the time was about $2,000. So we asked, what do you want for this set? And he says, I'll do $2,400 for it. So we were looking at ourselves and we're like, we just hit the jackpot. Again, we were very young at this point. This is in 2010. Again, we didn't have the most knowledge about the industry, but still we had enough knowledge to know that this was a really, really rare set and it was worth a lot of money. So we ended up buying it. This was like huge for us to each like put in over $1,000 to buy this set. This is $2,400 to, you know, swallow. That's a lot of money. But we came up with the money, we bought the set, and we ended up selling the set the next day for $6,500 cash. So we made $4,100 in one day as 11 and 13-year-olds. And then you better bet we've been stopping into that same We Buy Gold place for years now. So I remember like the next time we stopped in, he pulled out this 1907 $10 gold piece, no motto reverse in MS64 condition, which is 64 points out of 70 for those of you who don't know. Coins and currency are graded on a 70-point scale. So this is 64 out of 70. Very, very high for 1907, over 100 years old at that point. I said, what do you want for it? And he says $1,100. So once again, we bought it, we came up with the cash, we used some of the profits from the previous one, bought this, $1,100, and about 2 or 3 weeks later, we ended up selling it for $4,100. So that's another $3,000 profit. So just those two things alone, I mean, that's like over $7,000 just on two coin purchases from this guy. Once again, once we started to build more and more knowledge, we've been able to use that knowledge to pick off good deals from people who are like less knowledgeable. Like pawn shops are my favorite. Oh my goodness, the deals you can get at pawn shops, they think they know everything, but oftentimes they'll slip up on coins and currency because it's really difficult to know everything. So I remember at this one place, they had this really old penny. It was from 1794. They looked it up in the book value. They saw $300 and they're like, you can have it for $300, which for the most part for a 1794 penny in not to great condition, it's fairly high. But this coin in particular was an extremely rare variety. The 7 in the date was elevated, the nose was curved a certain direction, and there was one extra curl on the hair, and that indicates, if you know, that indicates it is a Sheldon 20B, which is a special variety. So we ended up selling that one for about $3,000. And leading with other pennies, I picked off this one large cent from 1802. I bought it for $25. Once again, extremely rare variety, and that I sold for $2,000. So as you can see, these are massive, massive, massive profit margins because we were able to use the knowledge and expertise we learned to pick off good things from people who are less knowledgeable. So, and there's a bunch of others. An 1889 Carson City $1, like everyone loves that date. It's a really key date. I bought that at a pawn shop in Montana. I see it, I'm like, wow, that's a rare day. That's worth a lot of money. I hope it's real. That's the thing. A lot of coins are being counterfeited. China's getting really, really good with sending fake counterfeit coins over here. So you have to be really sharp to know a counterfeit, just like a counterfeit watch or counterfeit Yeezys or counterfeit. I mean, there's fakes everywhere. So you really got to be sharp to know that stuff. So, but we took the risk and we bought it for $350 and we later sold it. It was real. We sent it off for certification, came back authentic. We ended up selling that for $1,500. So there are just a few, and those were all before we turned 12 years old, those wins. I mean, if you look after that, I have some crazy stories that I can do in future story time videos. But there you go, just those like 5 coins I listed, there was like $15,000 profit there alone, combined with the auctions, in-person things, and the conventions, and then the e-commerce, which was like $70,000. We're at well over 100, but 100 made for a nice number for the title and things. So there you guys have it. Before I left 6th grade, before Christian left even middle school, we grossed $100,000. Crazy. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, how? You know, I run into some 5th and 6th graders here and there, and oftentimes our generation is just so lazy and immature that, you know, that's why a lot of people hear that story and they're like, how, like what? Like, how could you have done that? How could you be so, you know, just knowledgeable about the situation around you and be such a good entrepreneur at that young of an age? And it's just the drive that we had in us early on. We wanted nice things in life. We wanted a Lamborghini. We wanted a Ferrari. And I know a lot of you have been asking and are probably going to comment on this video, you know, is your dad in this industry? Does he help you at all with this stuff? And no, he's not in this industry whatsoever. As you guys probably already know if you watch my other videos, he had a telecommunication business in the 80s and 90s where he would rent out telephones. And now, of course, that everyone has a telephone, you know, that business just went into the negatives. And that's what really put us in the financial squeeze in like 2007 and 2008. And then but I wouldn't trade it for anything, because those tough times are what got us to the better times, because it made us work our butt off to get what we wanted, knowing that nothing would be handed to us in life. So that's what got us going with the business side of things. And of course we could throw into these numbers. I mean, I didn't even mention the things, but basically we did everything as little kids to hustle and make money. Of course, like we were dealing candy in school, even though the principals and stuff were not. I almost got suspended for selling candy in school. I got called to the principal's office so many times. They confiscated all my candy and all my money that I made from candy. I don't even know if they're allowed to do it, but that's another story for another day. Of course, like shoveling driveways, we would make tons of money. I remember one day alone we made $1,000, and we would make like $2,000 to $3,000 every winter doing that. And then of course the lemonade stand, we did that for a few years, and that made like $3,000 to $5,000 a summer. So we made good money doing things outside of coins as well. So that goes to show there's so many little ways you can make money while you're young. I'll probably make a whole separate video talking about that, because that's a very popular question. I get asked that a lot, you know, how can I make money at a young age? And the answer is there's so many ways. So it just goes to show, find something you love and find a way to make money on it. I loved history. I loved dealing with old collectibles and just feeling all these things in my hands and then being able to sell them for a profit. Oh my goodness, it's the most amazing job still to this day, even though we're doing so many other things nowadays. Of course, with crypto and with real estate and with social media marketing and drop shipping stores, and like, it's crazy. We're just getting into so many different little you know, areas of business, but it's amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It just goes to show, we started the business with $50, and within, let's see, if we started in like 08, 09 to 2011, that's like 3 years, we turned $50 into 100,000. Not bad if you ask me. But I really push guys, always be learning, finding mentors. Had I not bumped into some amazing mentors, oh geez, I sound like Ty Lopez now, bumped into a mentor and another mentor.
I bumped into a mentor and another mentor.
But it's true, I bumped into so many mentors that taught me so much about the industry, and that's what helped so much. Because like I said, our dad does not know old coins and currency. He's not in that industry, you know, whatsoever. But he's a great mentor for everything else in business. So we were on our own to learn it and find mentors to really understand the industry. Anyway, there we go. We covered a lot, but there's the story. If you guys want a sequel to this, be sure to comment down below, or if you want me to elaborate on anything else in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below. I know I got really nerdy with the coin stuff there for a while. I hopefully you guys enjoyed that a little bit, but I know all the, you know, intricacies of coins can be a little confusing. That's why that's why I haven't talked about it much on video. Like I said, if you want to see a sequel, comment down below. There you go. There's how we got started in entrepreneurship, and that's how we made our first $100,000 by the age of 12. I got inspired by other videos to make this video because I've seen it on YouTube, you know, like making my first million or making my first 100,000 at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then here we are at like 12 years old. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. There it all is, cut and dry. There are the numbers, 100K by the time we left elementary school. Pretty crazy. Okay, well, I'll stop rambling. Be sure to subscribe if you are new, get involved in the giveaway, leave a comment on this video, subscribe to this channel, and be subscribed to my car channel, JR Garage, if you like automotive stuff. I'm in the Lamborghini here. There's tons of content with the Lamborghini on the JR Garage channel, and leave a big like if you enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one.